All right, so gonna keep watching crypto while I do this because things are really moving. But we'll start with just a quick review of last week. Um, we kept moving up while this is the daily, yeah. We had a bullish week, but then Friday had a really quick sell-off. Um, Last week I took some days off um, trading, but also um, also had a reset week to reset how I'm trading and risk sizing, etc. Um, what was last week news wise? Can't even remember. Yeah, last week was Fed funds, FOMC week. Okay, this next week. Yeah, so really choppy, crazy day during Fed, and then a big sell-off afterwards. Although uh, we have been heading much higher. But yeah, as for a review of last week, finally sort of figured out the SMT environment, as well as still thinking we may be near a top and looking for the outperformance in breadth momentarily. Um, and RTY holding up stronger than YM for longs. ES and Q shorts are clear when there's an SMT over YM, but long when YM um, when ES and Q make higher lows, or when YM makes higher lows. SMT. So yeah, that was sort of the playbook that I realized was getting playing out last week. Um, yeah, uh, yeah. This last, it was the monthly close last week, right on Friday. But yeah, last week we did have the quick retrace. Was that the gap down that day? Was that the gap down? Friday. Yeah, so yeah, we had the big gap down overnight, or over the weekend, which was the big sell-off I was looking for in Qs, but had not enough time on my options, in my option, so got wrecked on that. But yeah, it did play out, um, and this was just a technical retrace on YM, respecting the daily, in which we did come higher. And then we had all the Fed stuff in here, really choppy. And then we created that bearish SMT on Friday with the bullish SMT playing out for the long side. Friday was like definitely the cleanest day besides like earlier in the week. And just lots of volatility in here um, because we had earnings and FOMC, and then GDP wasn't quite a big move either, as I'd expect. So, so This week, I'm looking to get back into regular trading every day that with the key kill zones and news with um, respective size, 150 bucks. Let's see here. Process wise, I'm trying to think. Well, overnight, I already know we have gapped down due to to weekend Wall Street. Just need to keep in mind the levels that we take out for bullish reversals or retracements to get short off of when NQ and ES SMT over YM. Yeah, process wise, yeah, I just need to get back in the habit of replaying. So get back into replaying, trading every day, as well as detailed write-ups every day, as well as filling out notions every day. Also running again since my calf is getting better and making sure I roll out my calves. Alright, so yeah, we'll start with YM. So it looks like we do have a weekly fair value gap here now. Maybe that's exactly where we've sold off into. And another one here. Just gonna get rid of this one since it's so low. Alright. Why are these colors different? Whatever. Why is this all weird now? We'll do that one. Alright. So we got some weekly fair value gaps. We also got these old relative equal lows, it looks like. Whoops. But we'll have to zoom in and see exactly what we're looking at. Yeah, big up week followed by a big wick rejection with no shifts to the upside, and we've rebalanced the entire range. And same thing on the daily. Daily, no fair value gaps. This one got respected here. Just gonna leave that there. Don't know what that is. We'll have to zoom in on the 4. But just a lot of stuff I need to delete here. So yeah, I guess this is just a 4-hour inversion here. Little support resistance area place here in case we do come down there. For the sweep into the weekly fair value gap. But yeah, don't know yet. And then we had this relative equal low sweep, which is the same on these regular stock charts. And SPY's got relative equal lows there, and QQQ's got relative equal lows way down here. And it's down 1% on weekend Wall Street, so it's about somewhere down here. So yeah, I'd expect probably to come all the way down into there soon. But anyways, we've got a 4-hour fair value gap here. Just turn that red. With a bunch of inefficiencies, which have been traded into, so I am just going to delete all these. And this 4 hours probably already been traded into. And what Dow Jones Industrial has gapped down about another percent too, so it's probably going to come into this area. Let's look again. Yeah, NDX is down 1.5%, and Dow Jones, let's see. It was down about 1%. So it's about, yeah, it's just inside of that, this inversion here. So on the daily, yeah, that's just the wick there. Maybe on the weekly. So if you just look at the weekly, wish that I could just leave a line there. Maybe I will. So yeah, it looks like it's not that important. Um, but yeah, with the big gap down, it's kind of changing everything. So it's gonna be hard to do an analysis since it's gonna be way down here. But just guessing, we're gonna have a big gap here. Everything's gonna have a big gap. Yeah, this is definitely area of interest here on the higher time frame. And then the next one would be back down here and then into here. If we're gonna keep going lower, if we're just gonna retrace the range, and why doesn't it work? We're gonna need at least down into that weekly. So yeah, it makes sense that we'd head lower. We do have somewhat relative equal lows here, and then like a gap down where that weekly fair value gap is here. Which doesn't really line up, but I guess on the Dow Jones chart it does. And then we got relative equal highs at the all-time highs. Yeah, it's almost like kind of a waste of time to do this right now. It's like pretty big gap down. Well, let's at least do the flow analysis. So flows were bearish. SpyNet was flat out really bearish. Tide flipped really bearish Friday. Dow Jones was bearish, though calls were flat. Um, Russell was bearish all day. And then QQQ. QQQ was bearish, but then there was a big put sell there at the end of the day, and calls were coming up. So it's kind of weird, but it was bearish leaning. So just kind of weird. We'll see what happens on the gap down. Maybe I'll just redo my analysis later tonight and just get a good look on everything, just the environment in general. Yeah, still looking for the SMT and currencies. Still think that we're going to get that. It seems like the pound is definitely the weakest, and it's probably going to uh, head lower. Though it would be really cool to see euro actually make the lower low versus the pound. That would make a lot of sense for me to get long into that. Um, yeah, there's nothing to really go off of. Flows were bearish, and it seems like they'll probably open it up lower, and maybe that's what's going to be the long. We really need to see like what happens overnight, and maybe we just need to go through everything and just mark out the levels. I'm assuming SPY is going to be down into here. SPY has relative equal lows there, but ES does not. But it does have them on the really high time frame. But yeah, we just need to mark out the levels here. Yeah, weekly, no fair value gaps, no nothing. Big gap down there last week, and it held the gap down with respect. So yeah, SPY looks really bearish. Um, the way it's respecting that new week opening gap. Hold support and resistance liquidity area. We swept that out, and now we're gapping lower. So yeah, definitely going to be targeting this as the draw on liquidity. Wait, back to the daily. Anything? Yeah, we just have daily PD arrays there. Nothing else really. On the 4 hour, yeah, I think we're just targeting the bottom of this range, or at least this low resistance liquidity to come back higher. We do have fair value gaps here. Being formed. But other than that, just seems like we're gonna gap down, take out this level, and we want to see. This has already been souped a billion times. So Nasdaq. We already traded that. NASDAQ on the daily just has these really clean relative equal lows at the bottom and the head and shoulder set up there. Yeah, not much to say there. Russell, very messy, holy cow. Such a messy chart. Gonna leave these here. That's been balanced. This was already traded into, we got relative equal highs there. We were respecting this, but don't need that on there anymore. What is this? This daily got traded into already, but we'll leave it there. So yeah, the only area of interest is just that, those relative equal highs into that weekly, and then I'm assuming we're going to be heading lower. But I do want to see this to show relative strength in order to give some longs. Let me check the flow on Russell again. A ton of volume for, a ton of premium for March 21st. There is a lot of premium for the for Monday. That's pretty bullish, a good amount, and there is another amount on the 7th. So those 2 days may actually be, there may be some bullishness still here for the Russell. Oops. Wish you could see the Russell too close. It doesn't say anything about the Russell being down over the weekend. Weird. Yeah, I really want to see where Russell opens up. It seems like um, Dow Jones would need to create an SMT for us to go higher. Um, and it was already holding that area, which is that's why it was kind of tricky. So it would only really make sense for me if Dow Jones really came pretty deep and the Russell held a very obvious level like this one, like the Dow Jones comes and sweeps this low while we're still holding here on Russell, or the actual low. But other than that, that's going to be no go for me in longs. I would not want to long any of that. If anything, Russell actually looks like it wants to give opportunities to get short because of that SMT at the high. And then, yeah, once QQQ can come crack these equal lows, that would be super easy for me to pivot into looking for longs. And then SPY, same thing, crack these equal lows here. And then that's the SMT for maybe Russell there too. So we'll see. But yeah, we know we're gapping down. The only other thing for me to keep an eye on is the currencies, and then crypto. So technically, Bitcoin did already sweep these equal lows. It just seems like it would probably want this order block down here with these equal highs, since we've already just created more equal lows here, it seems like. And then, what was the other? Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance did give the relative equal high sweep, and now it's rejecting. But now it has more relative equal highs here, technically. And this is like the rally prior to capitulation, so it does seem somewhat significant to sweep back up there again, maybe. Um, and honestly, it just seems like it would want to come higher because, yeah, seems like it'd want to soup these highs again. But yeah, I could just be rejecting this order block, and that might be it. Um, others, I would have liked to see others crack this low, though it could just hold it. You know, there's equal lows on everything. Total, same thing. Just there's nothing super clear. All it's doing is just making more lows, and total too, especially seems like it would want to soup this. Yeah. Yeah, it seems like it'd want to soup these old highs, not just wick through them. It seems like it'd want to come pretty low. Yeah, another 10% would be great. That would be the only thing that would really make sense to me, is if we did come soup out all this. So I'm going to send alert there. Equal lows very clear here on total 3. So this is like the most obvious one, honestly. And from there down, from where we're at, it's another also 9. It all kind of lines up. Seems like everything looks like it needs another 9-10% down. And XRP also seems like that too. Though, yeah, could just be wrong. XRP from where it's at, yeah, it could add way lower. But I don't know. Could have already taken it. This could have already been the sweep. That could have been it, and that's it. So I guess I just gotta reevaluate at the open. So I'll just redo this later. Too unclear right now, especially with the big gap down we're probably gonna have, and I'd want to see crypto and how it reacts to that. So like if everything gaps down into some super clean area for a bounce. Um, but yeah, otherwise we still have the same areas of interest, equal highs on the Dow, same thing on the regular charts on the Dow or the Russell, I mean. And then we have all-time high relative equal highs now. So it seems like we would still want to soup that on SPY too. So I really like this area down here. I think it will get swept out, especially if Nasdaq's going to be weaker. That would make a lot of sense. And if Nasdaq's going to sweep these lows, it's probably going to come all the way down below this low. But who knows? We'll see. But yeah, it does seem like we would want to. These are just too smooth. So yeah, we're going to wait for the open, and that's the plan. Other than that, I'm going to finish my analysis later. Adios.